This is the screen of your Daitsu Monobloc Active 2 heat pump. It's a color touch screen, and you work it with your finger. In the middle, the big dial. Top left, the date, the time and the outdoor temperature. On the left the mode, and on the right the temperature you've asked for. And along the bottom, two areas, the lock on the left and the power key on the right. Let's start by switching it on. Watch the color, that's the giveaway. When the power key is white, the unit is stopped. Touch it and it turns blue. That means it's running. And to switch it off, the same key again. Now the mode, what you want the unit to do. Touch where it says mode and you get 5 options. Heating, for your underfloor heating or your radiators. Cooling, if your unit has it. Hot water, for the tank only. And the two combined ones, hot water plus heating, and hot water plus cooling. You pick one and save it. And note this, if your unit doesn't have cooling, or doesn't have hot water, that key simply doesn't appear. It isn't a fault, that model just doesn't have it. Now the temperature, which is where most people get confused. Touch where it says target and you set the target temperature for whichever mode you're in. But look at the big dial in the middle. It says outlet, that's the leaving water temperature, the water going out to your system. It is not the room temperature. That's why you see 55 degrees while the house is at 21. They're two different things. One is the water in the circuit, the other is the air in your living room. And just below the dial it says DHW, which is the temperature of the domestic hot water tank. Now the trick almost nobody works out on their own, how to get into the settings. There is no menu button. You get in by sliding your finger across the screen, from right to left, like turning a page on your phone. And to go back to the home screen, the same thing the other way, slide from left to right. The settings come up as hexagons. And the labels on the unit are in English, time for the clock, brightness for the screen, curve for the temperature curve. Inside time you have the most useful things for everyday running. System time is the system clock. Set it properly, because if the time is wrong, no timer works the way it should. Power timer is the on and off timer, what time it starts and what time it stops. Mute timer is the quiet mode timer, so the outdoor unit runs quieter at night and goes back to normal in the morning. And warm water circulation is the hot water recirculation. It means hot water comes through as soon as you open the tap, with no waiting. If there are children at home, you can lock the screen. Touch the padlock and it closes. With the padlock closed nothing responds, you can't change any setting. To unlock it, touch the padlock and it asks for a password. It's 22. Write it down, because it isn't shown anywhere on the screen. And finally, if a warning appears in the corner of the screen, the unit has detected a fault. Touch it and it shows the code, 1 letter and 2 or 3 numbers. Write that code down, switch the unit off and call us. With the code in front of us we already know where to start before we leave. And one important thing about this unit, worth knowing, it runs on our 290 refrigerant, which is propane. It's very efficient and very clean, but it is flammable. That's why the refrigerant circuit is only handled by an installer with the training the regulations require. We are JSL Mallorca, Joaquin and Juan, in Mallorca since 1998. Heat pumps, underfloor heating, air conditioning, electrical work and plumbing. And what we don't do, so there are no surprises, we don't do emergency call-outs. We work by appointment, because we'd rather take our time and do the job properly. If your system hasn't been serviced in a while, now is a good time. Call us on +34 609 09 8902 or 656 82 7925. Write to info@jslorca.com. Quotes are free and with no obligation.